This is 60 Seconds of Science, brought to you by Pioneer. Nitrogen fertilizer is elusive. Last year, when many farmers saw excessive rainfall, some lost much of their nitrogen to leaching or denitrification.
Nitrogen are extremely important, most yield-limiting nutrient for most of our major crops, especially corn. And at the same time, it presents a lot of unique challenges in management.
That's Andy Heggenstaller, the digital lead for Pioneer's granular software program. He works in southern Minnesota, where nitrogen loss from leaching was huge in the spring of 2018.
In many cases, I estimate from farmers that I worked with this year, probably exceeded 100 pounds per acre of nitrogen loss through leaching in fields in southern Minnesota this year.
He explains the difference between soils holding more stable phosphorus and potassium versus their ability to hold nitrogen.
For the most part, in most soils, when we apply those nutrients, they're going to stay there. We might not use everything we applied this year and this year, but it's all going to be there. We can kind of think about it as a bank account in a lot of ways. Put it in, take it out with harvest, put more in. Nitrogen doesn't work that way, and that's predominantly because the forms of nitrogen in the soil that are available for the crop to take up, that's nitrate and ammonium, they interact a bit differently with the soil than our phosphorus and potassium and other nutrients. And so the big issue is most of the nitrogen our corn crop's going to take up in the soil is going to be in the nitrate form. And because that nitrogen is negatively charged, it does not stick to the soil particles or the organic matter particles in the soil the way other nutrients do. And that leads to one of the key issues, and that's leaching.
In our next podcast, Andy proposes a means for growers to know how much nitrogen is in the root zone during the growing season. The granular program uses a simple green, yellow, or red traffic light approach. This has been 60 Seconds of Science, brought to you by Pioneer.